guideline. And it'll also set up a good clipper over comb foundation. But before we get into that, let's line up the C-cups. That way we can see where we want to start our fade. Right here, I'm going to go into a drop shape and contour it to your client's head shape. That way it's more of a unique cut and it looks more catered to that client. Unless he asks for more of a straight across mid-fade. But for this cut, I'm going to try to make it a detailed drop fade. Give it my own flair. And clear up all the bulk, and once we're done with that, shave up all the stubble. That way it pops a little bit more, and it'll last for a couple more days. And for our first guideline, I'm going to go about an inch. That way I could have a nice gradient. And right on top of that, we're going to go with our 1.5 guard. So I can see exactly what my fade's going to look like before I start it. I think this is a good method if you're beginning to cut hair. That way you don't fade too high. You have a nice set foundation. And in the middle of the open lever and your 1.5, blend in the middle line with your 0 or your half guard. And to finalize your fade, going with your trimmer and your close lever and just flick out that bottom line. And if there's any details left over, you could use your open lever and even come back and use your half guard. Right here, I got my clipper comb and I come straight up and flare out slightly towards me. That way it doesn't dig in to the hair. But I also don't want it to have too much of a wedge shape, so I just go straight up. And instead of swiping from right to left, I go straight up to blend in the guideline that the clipper over comb created. And now that we're finished on the right side, I'm going to repeat the same steps as my first side. And for this side, you guys know how I like to get down, talk to you guys how I've been feeling, talk to you guys about life. And my thing right now is just trying to stay positive, man. It's easy to let the external distract you and let everything outside, all the outside noise, let you down. But you have to have gratitude within this world and realize that you have to be grateful for the things that you do have. It's easy to always want more. You could have it all, but still want more in this world. So whenever you're feeling like you don't have everything that you do want or you need more, just realize the things that you do have in life, guys. So just let's lock in and let's get back into this cut. I just had to share that with you guys real quick. Hopefully one of you guys relate to it. Right here, you see I'm in the middle line, just flicking out and making sure I don't go too high. That way my fade stays right in place. And I want to keep my C-cups dark too. I'm not using any enhancements on this cut, so I want to keep it naturally dark. Right here, I'm just blending out with a clipper comb still. Trying to keep the bulk, but make sure that it's not too long on top. And if there's any guideline left over, blend that out, don't be afraid. And for the back, guys, it's the same thing on the sides. Try to keep your guidelines consistent. Try to keep it nice and stretched if you want that stretch fade. And stay right under the bulk that you created. That way it lays nicely when the hair is falling down. You can see right here that my clipper comb goes straight up and slightly angles. It's a very slight angle. You don't want the hair to look all wedged. Or even worse, you don't want the sides to be longer than the bridal ridge. Right here, I got my zero guard on, just detailing. You can see the fades coming together now. Just getting out any of the last dark spots. And try to be finesse with your clipper too, guys. You don't have to put too much weight on your clipper. It's already sharp enough to do the work. As long as you got the right motion down and you're not digging in. Alright, now that we got the sides and the back finished, we're gonna move on to the top. I didn't really cut much. I just cut anything that was hanging over his eyebrows. Right here, I just cut a little bit because it was hanging over. That way it maintains the style, and he didn't really want anything off. I just wanted to make sure it looks good. And if there's any detail needed, you could either use your shears or your clipper comb, whatever you feel comfortable with. And to finish your cut, if your client is requesting it, for the lineup, you meet it in the middle. Start your first baseline in the middle and either go from left to right, however you prefer. And a good tip too is you could start on the bars. That way you have a reference as to where you want to start or stop your lineup. And for the razor, just be smooth with it, because it's really easy to make your client, especially on the eyebrow area. The skin is a lot softer, so it's a lot easier to cut. And for men's eyebrows, be careful on the shaping of it. You don't want to overly shape the eyebrow. And for the hairs that are excess and overhanging, you could brush it up and cut it with the scissors. That way everything flows. And an extra tip, if you want an extra pop to your fade where you already shaved it with an electric shaver, you get your razor and finish up the cut that way. And once that's finished, you got yourself a nice drop fade, texture on top, your client's happy. I appreciate you guys for your time. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.